it's Eric here, talking to fan people. I was struck tonight as I drive back from dropping off Abraham by the human need for stories that explain us to ourselves in ways that allow us to believe there's a way to win, to believe that there's a success criterion that we might aspire to and achieve. These stories, these criteria for success that are spun for us by others, are spun by those others for their own reasons. Sometimes purely altruistic, but even then, that doesn't really tell us anything about the truth of the narrative, certainly, and it doesn't really even tell us anything about the utility of the narrative. It tells us only about the person telling the narrative. So, it's an odd contradiction we have, in which we reach out to time objects that purport to provide some sort of solidity, something we can hang our hat on, some instructions or directions that we might follow or implement in order to achieve something. A big part of the problem for most people who are inclined towards a goal like that is they really aren't sure what they're working towards achieving. They don't know what it would look like if they were already there. I certainly place myself in that boat. I'm trying to figure out the question first, more than any answer. I mean, I would say the question has to do with purpose or intention, but that just provokes so many other questions. Another matter worth noting as I drive home, so it doesn't escape me, is this odd alternating quality to things. So while I like to engage in a certain amount of anti-balance rhetoric, that's for individual agents fulfilling their own duties and functions as individual agents in a larger system. And the frame of reference that one applies to any given system, flexibility with that frame of reference seems to correlate with NE in general, but I could be wrong with that, at least in terms of real-time flexibility. So, what I mean by frame of reference here is, for example, if I am asked to evaluate, I have to produce a bunch of different ways to talk about something. This is something I've been discussing lately in general, sort of a methodology for understanding NE. I'm asked to talk about a given subject in a number of different ways. I might say, okay, let's say the topic is cheese. I might go, well, let me do physical descriptions of cheese. So then I'd say, well, it's yellow, it's kind of moist looking, whatever else he said about it. And then I might say, well, how about types of cheese? And then I go, types of cheese. Well, how about recipes that include cheese or ways of using cheese? Now, so far I'm in a narrow set of frames of reference. They're distinct, each frame of reference is distinct, but they're not terribly different. As I expand out to more frames of reference, I encounter things like, well, different people's relationships to cheese as a dietary item. Some people may be allergic to it, some people may just not like it, some people may adore it, some people like only certain kinds of cheese. And then maybe I would talk about the role of cheese in economic relationships between people. We could talk about the role of cheese in the American economy from an agricultural standpoint. I could talk about the reputations of certain places and people having to do with cheese. I could talk about the ways in which you can relate cheese to one of any number of possible metaphysical models, be it normative, be it ontological, be it epistemological, be it aesthetic. I could talk about uses for it that are non-traditional uses, like, you could throw it through a window to break into a place and steal stuff. It's a hard cheese, something like that. So you see, different frames of reference refers to taxonomies of perspective on a given subject or something like that. And to conclude this video at about 7.5 minutes, my point here is simply that for the introverted intuitor who's engaging in auditory NI, that they are finding the inherent pattern of on-off that fits into a egg crate. And for a lot of things, the egg crate isn't exactly visible. For something like metered verse, it is. Because language is sufficiently static, and the combinations of variables are few enough that we can describe all the rules precisely. We can't do that with something like music, where the variables are too many permutations. Anyway, that wasn't 7.5 minutes, it was 8.5 minutes. But it's a good thought for this video about the stories. That's how we started it. The stories that people need to tell themselves, to be told to them. Stories people need to encounter and experience in order to make their own lives feel purposeful and non-despairing.